I don't know whether silver traded over $20 today, but the last time I saw it, it was 1995, and that's pretty close. So I think in a way, silver's leading the way here, and I think there's some really big hitters in there who have been trepidatious previously because of what happened to the Hunts in 1980, and I think they're finally coming around and saying, let's go for it. And I think that's why you're seeing the move that you're seeing in silver. And every time they try to knock it down, they get their heads handed to them. And the same with gold. It's big physical buying. They had to hold gold down and silver as much as they could because they wanted to go into the holiday weekend making both of them look weak and making the markets look strong. So they took the market from 10,000 to 10,430 on very low volume, and after the holiday, the market may very well start to turn back down again. It's window dressing. I think two of the important things that have come out this week. Number one is the Debt-Free America Act, which is H.R. 4646, and they want to put a 1% sales tax on credit card, debit card, and securities transactions. Have you heard about that, Alex?
Yeah, it's a Tobin. It's an individual kind of VAT on financials.
That's right. And so the chances of it getting passed, I believe, are slim. And that's fortunate for us. But just to put the thing up shows you where they're headed. When, on the other hand, the administration is saying to business, well, we're going to get you some breaks so that we can revive the economy, and it's all smoke and mirrors. The second one is the Automatic IRA Act of 2010, which is far more dangerous. It's a mandatory payroll tax on all workers of 3% to be used to purchase government retirement bonds.
Which they'll loot. Stay there. So they are coming with VAT, financial taxes on everyone. The health care tax is passed. They're trying to implement that. They're trying to come in with retirement taxes. I mean, folks, the austerity's here. The bankers looting the hell out of us and giving themselves record bonuses. They've just got started. Bob, continue with that on the other side. Briefly, Bob, we appreciate your time. More on the economy. You're getting into all these new taxes they're trying to ram through, and you hardly hear any news coverage of it. And then I want to go to calls.
Well, there's none at all. That's what really gets me. And this Automatic IRA Act, it's 3% that they want to pass, and I think they can pass it. And I was told by Washington, people I know there, that they're planning on jacking it up within 3 years to 15%. And this is a foot in the door because within that act, it also says, if it's passed, that they would consider implementing the takeover of retirement plans and putting them into what they call retirement bonds or guaranteed government annuities. And that's what they're going to go after if they get this thing passed. And that'll be next year. And there's the private plans have about $4.3 trillion. And they want it. And so they can keep on having plenty of money to subject us and have their wars and all the things that they want to do. But this is very important legislation. And I'm glad I got a good, fresh look at it. We've been talking about this for over a year. As far as the market's concerned, next week, I think it'll start down. I think gold and silver will break out to new highs, particularly silver. And so I see, very firm markets in gold and silver next week. The volume is not enough for the government to sustain the stock market. People are leaving in droves, and a lot of them are going into U.S. Treasuries, which are in a bubble, and then people say to me, well, how do I short them? And I tell them, don't.
Well, what does that mean that the majority or the largest group, is the way Bloomberg put it, the most popular option in Wall Street on gold is 1,500 by December? Well,
they figure that the price of gold's going up, and of course, the government will do everything possible to keep it down, but they're not going to be successful. And we should get up by the end of the year to 15 or 1600. You got to remember, official inflation since 1980 would have gold at $2,400 an ounce, and real inflation via John Williams, who we have had on the program, eminent economist. He is calling for $7,600 in round figures.
All right, let me stop you. Go ahead. Let me go ahead and finish.
No, I was finished.
Bob, I want to go to these calls, but they snuck the income tax through in 1913, didn't really implement it until the 1950s for the general public. They've snuck through so many other taxes. And go back, because I've seen that in the news, but just tiny blurbs. They've got multiple bills to create a VAT on all financial transactions, debit cards, banking, you name it, which sets the precedent to track all purchases, control what you do. I mean, it's an incredible robbery. They're coming in trying to make you put money in government retirement accounts, basically expanding the Social Security tax that they rob as soon as the money comes in. I mean, that's amazing. List that legislation again, both those pieces, because you're right. That's not even on the radar screen, and they're trying to sneak it through right now.
Well, there was H.R. 4646 was the piece that was the 1% transaction tax, and there's no co-sponsors. There was just one person who sponsored it, but I think it's a trial balloon. I think he was put up to it. And I think they want to bring the factors in that you just mentioned in later. And what is later? Probably after the election. And also with this automatic IRA act, if they think they can get it passed, they'll put it through before the election. My guess is they won't be able to do that.
Okay, one final point. We're going to calls. Kurt Nimmo wrote a story last night, and it's been confirmed. Gun confiscation in response to Hurricane Earl. Now, here's another headline from the Examiner. North Carolina governor suspends gun rights. State of emergency order makes criminals of concealed handgun permit holders, sports shooters, and hunters. So they're saying during emergencies you can't own guns. This is the time you need your guns. We saw Katrina. This is their policy to set the precedent and the idea that anytime there's an emergency, you can't have guns. This is amazing.
Well, impeach the governor. That's what I told the people in Greece. If you can't impeach him, get him out of there.
Absolutely. This is outrageous. Donovan in Texas, you're on the air.
Yes, I have two questions. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Bob Chapman, do you believe that the U.S. would never return to its original state unless the Federal Reserve is abolished?
Well, first of all, we do need the Federal Reserve abolished, and the work that they do should be turned back to the Treasury Department where it was in the first place before they passed what I think is an illegal Federal Reserve Act. As far as going back to the Constitution, the only way we're going to do that is by electing people who are willing to take us back that way and not act like the people who are in office now. Short of that, if we can't accomplish that, I don't even want to contemplate what's going to happen in America.
Okay. And Alex Jones, it's kind of staggering to kind of like look at the mind control of the American people today. Me being an African American person in the DFW area of Texas, I could really see the mind control on the black people getting really caught up in the emotions with Obama and stuff, and like me talking to to these people are really just telling me that he could really do whatever he wants, and I could see all the mind control they have like placed on us over these last, I mean, I don't know how long, but it seems like they just feel like he could do whatever he wants to, and they're okay with that. I mean, I even had somebody tell me that Obama is doing what he can for the American people, but they also believe that the Illuminati controls everything. So I say, well, if Obama's being controlled by the Illuminati, what makes you think that he's doing good stuff for the American people?
Donovan, great points, and I appreciate your call. I'm going to move quicker so I can get to others, but it's just like Democrats wouldn't wake up to Bill Clinton when he was an open crook and lying to him. And Republicans still think there were WMDs in Iraq, even when the government admits there weren't. They still think Bush is good. And it's the same thing. They get bought into somebody, like they're getting bought into Glenn Beck. And he can promote VAT taxes. He can promote all this stuff because he says the right thing one day and then the wrong thing the next. And people get sold on an idea that somebody's their friend. And then they can't admit they've been bamboozled. It's just that simple. Julio in Illinois, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Pleasure to talk to you both. Bob Chapman, God bless you. Two Google search term ideas ties into this entire broadcast today. With the ABC attack piece, it's disgusting to see Mickey Mouse sink this low with that horrible attack piece on you, Alex. Mockingbird Media, possible search term, exposing Prescott Bush and the whole World War II startup of the CIA operation, and you can show video clips of Glenn Beck.
Well, you'd have to do simple searches like Bush family Hitler, Bush family Nazis would do it, and then that would bring up all the videos and documents and London Guardian and AP admitting it. Most people still don't know about that. If you wanted to expose the ABC media thing, you would search the term. Hell, you've done it. We've never failed, but we're at the end of the show, and I don't know if just plugging it a few times will do it over the weekend, but let's try. Demonizing Alex Jones. Search the term demonizing Alex Jones. Great story by Kurt Nemo that has the Nightline piece posted. He breaks down all the brainwashing, and people can search the term demonizing Alex Jones. Demonizing Alex Jones, D-E-M-O-N-I-Z-I-N-G, demonizing Alex Jones. Let's make that the search term so people know how I'm being demonized and how they're demonizing all of us who love liberty through, using Alex Jones as the logo to then tear down. Demonizing Alex Jones. Let's do that as a search term. And we could also search the term gun confiscation. Gun confiscation, that will bring them to gun confiscation in response to Hurricane Earl. We'll also just had the 5-year anniversary of gun confiscation in New Orleans. So let's search two things today. Gun confiscation and separately demonizing Alex Jones. You have never failed, and that's a good idea. We've got to write an article with all the latest stuff, so it'll be #1. So let's do that next week. I'll have Watson when I'm out with Ventura. I'm going to be on the road a few days with Ventura. I'll be here at the end of the week. Watson's going to be here on Tuesday, Wednesday, and probably Thursday if I'm not able to get in on time. I may get in on time on Thursday. But I'm going to be on the road again with Ventura. It's top secret. I'll just leave it at that. In multiple states with the governor. Again, demonizing Alex Jones is the one search term, and then we'll do gun confiscation as the other. And next week we'll do because, folks, we can't do it now because we need to make sure we have fresh stories out to make it so when people search it, they get the intel. Or somebody else will put out disinfo to get that. But we'll do the Bush-Hitler stuff next week. It's a good idea. Demonizing Alex Jones is one search term. Gun confiscation is the other. Anything else, Julio? Look what you've done now.
For Bob Chapman, in terms of Illuminists and how they like to work with the number system, like 9/11/91 and 9/11/01, 10/10/10, possibly integrate the North American Union, something like false flag through computer systems, or a fake WMD, as you like to say, Alex. What is Bob's take on the Illuminist number system and 10/10/10?
Yeah, they are obsessed with it. They're a bunch of fruitcakes. Bob?
I agree with him. Yes, they are a bunch of fruitcakes. You've been to the Bohemian Grove, and I get a laugh every time I think about that. I lost my train of thought. Continue, Alan.
We're talking about how they're fruitcakes and obsessed with numerology.
Oh, numerology. You're absolutely correct. And 10/10/10 is probably a good number. And when I made my prediction that there would be a false flag event in November before 9/11, I didn't know what the date was. Did I have a clue? And I was within 33 days, which I think was a miracle. But they do really, really lean on this numerology and this, I don't know what you call it.
Well, that's human nature, superstition. I mean, look at baseball players got their lucky socks and their lucky bat. I mean, look at it. It's just everywhere, and they're superstitious. I mean, I'm not really superstitious, but I still knock on wood. I still like horseshoes. and the globalists just take it to the 10th degree. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Final segment, Bob Chapman, your phone call straight ahead.